Does size really matter?
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. 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 We are all looking for adventure.
Good morning everyone, how are you? And today I'm going to answer the age-old question, does size really matter? Now, in my opinion, it does. However, we're just going to explain why in this next video. Now, I have a 2017 long wheelbase Volkswagen Crafter. Now, it is about 6.8 to 7 meters long and about 2.4 meters high. That's without the solar panel and the vents. So it's about 2.5 meters high and it needs a bloody good clean, but don't look. So 2.5 meters high, it's about 2 meters wide. Oh, and that's sticking out the top. There's my 4G aerial, which gives me super fast internet. And okay, so a lot of people say that this van is a big van, and they normally say, oh, it must be hard to park. Well, actually, no, it's not really hard to park, especially when you're taking up 3 parking spaces like I am at the moment, but that's only because it's quiet. Now, I can normally fit on a normal size parking space, as long as I choose the right one. And we will run through that shortly. But these vans really are designed to go on a normal parking space, because what they've got is at the back there is actually quite a big overhang, and if you can find a parking space that doesn't have bollards like these, you can reverse into it and it will actually fit bang on a normal size space. The van will fit in one of these spaces, I've done it, but it has to go right up close to the bollards at the back. So the question is, does size matter? And I did say that in my opinion, yes, size does matter, to a point. Now, I have previously had a Volkswagen Transporter, and again that was a long wheelbase. It was a normal roof and it was basically a camper van. And Volkswagen Transporters and Toyota Hiaces, that type of van, are very, very popular in Australia for camper vans, and I really did enjoy the van. However, when the weather is like this, they are not a lot of fun, especially if it's like it for a few days. Now, as you can see, this is Queensland. It's been raining for a couple of days. However, it is now beautiful, this blue sky, and reasonably warm, not too bad for a winter's day. Now, if it was to rain for a week, which it sometimes does, being in a camper van, stuck in a small van, really isn't a lot of fun, especially when it's cold. So that is the reason why I upgraded to this. Well, one of the reasons why I upgraded to this. Now, is it too big? No, in my opinion it's not. It drives exactly like a car. My daughter's driven this 3,000 k's up to Cairns. a couple of years ago. She's about 5 foot nothing. She had no issues whatsoever. However, I really don't think I would go any bigger, because this is plenty, and really the bigger you go, the harder it is to park and to go into towns and things, towns and cities and things like that, and you stand out a lot more. So that is the reason why I wouldn't go any bigger than this, but I do love this size, and I would find it really hard to go smaller. Now, what would be the things that would govern the size? Now, I think the main thing to me would be budget. That would be the huge governing factor on a lot of people for their van size. Now, obviously, if you can't afford a van this size, you've either got to go and get yourself an older van, which has its own drawbacks, or you get yourself a newer, smaller van. So that would be the main thing. I think the other thing as well would be fear of driving it. And like I say, some people do say to me, "Oh, that is a big van. It must be hard to drive." Like I say, drives exactly like a car, and you can park it on a normal size car parking space. The other thing that often puts people off, or the comments that I get, is, "Oh, it must use a lot of fuel." And this is, I think, a 2 or a 2.5 litre diesel, and I probably get 700 k's to a tank on the highway. So it generally is very economical. Now, the bonus to this size van is you can actually sit inside it, and it feels just like a house. It's nice and airy. You don't feel claustrophobic. Like, you could sit in here for a couple of days with the weather being like this, and you probably wouldn't feel too bad. When it's cold, you can sit on the lounge and look out at that, or otherwise you can also, when it's warmer, sit on the lounge and look out at that. And that is why I chose this size van.